Welcome to Wealth Rise. Have you ever felt like you're doing absolutely everything right, but you're still experiencing what looks like a crushing financial collapse? Well, today we're unpacking a fascinating set of concepts from our source materials that challenge everything we normally think about financial struggles. Because according to these sources, that intense pressure you're feeling, it might not be a failure at all. In fact, it might actually be a divine setup. We're going to look at the hidden spiritual signs indicating that a major financial breakthrough is way closer than you think, even if your current situation feels like the exact opposite.
It's a heavy question, isn't it? I mean, you start trying to get your finances in order and then suddenly, boom, unexpected expenses pop up out of nowhere, doors just slam shut in your face, and the pressure builds until you can barely catch your breath. It's incredibly frustrating. Naturally, you're probably asking yourself if you did something wrong or if you're being punished, but the core paradigm shift presented in this explainer is that chaos often equals preparation. Our sources argue that real treasure is almost always guarded by tension. So, if your finances feel like a total war zone right now, heaven might actually be setting the stage.
Okay, let's dive into this. The source material breaks this journey down into 4 distinct phases. Phase 1 is the internal shift, preparing the soul before the bank account. The sources indicate that the very first signs of a breakthrough happen quietly inside you, long before any numbers actually change on a screen.
What's really fascinating here is the idea that God stretches your capacity on the inside first. Look at these specific internal markers. The first one is an unexplained grief. You might literally be folding laundry or driving to work, and you just feel this profound sense of mourning. The sources explain that this isn't depression. Actually, it's your spirit grieving a season that's coming to an end. You're basically mourning an old identity built around lack and survival. Then there's a holy discontent. The things that used to entertain or comfort you, they suddenly just feel empty. And finally, there's a sudden, visceral hatred of debt. Like you can't just brush off those credit card balances anymore. They physically make you sick to your stomach. And the sources trace the reason behind this sudden hatred of debt right back to Proverbs 22:7, which states that the borrower is servant to the lender. According to the material, this sudden physical sickness over your debt isn't just everyday financial anxiety. They view it as a spiritual awakening. The concept is that God is waking up the king inside you, and kings absolutely do not accept living as slaves. He's letting you feel the severe discomfort of those chains simply because he has scheduled the exact day to break them. This internal shift builds directly into phase 2, the battlefield, sudden resistance and unexplained warfare. Because once you decide to obey God with your finances, the sources claim the external world often erupts into absolute chaos. So you've decided to step up, but instead of things getting easier, everything goes haywire. According to our research, this pattern of maximum resistance is incredibly common. Step 1, you decide to put your money under God's hand. Maybe you start tithing or you strictly commit to paying off your debt. Step 2, almost immediately the car breaks down, appliances just stop working, and sudden family stress or unexpected bills pile up all at the exact same time. And step 3, when a new opportunity finally does present itself, instead of feeling joy, your very first reaction is fear and panic. You start looking for any excuse to delay or just run away. So what's going on here? Well, 1 Corinthians 16:9 points out that a great and effective door opening is often accompanied by many adversaries. The sources argue a really logical point here. Thieves don't break into empty houses, right? The enemy doesn't waste ammunition on people who are going nowhere. So those intense, unexplained attacks actually confirm that a massive shipment of blessing is arriving. The intensity of the resistance is basically proportional to the size of your breakthrough. Which brings us to a really critical crossroads. Do you run from the fear, or do you face the open door? The sources bring in the specific example of Moses to illustrate this. Think about it. Moses prayed for 40 years in the wilderness for a purpose. But when God finally answered and called him to deliver a nation, Moses spent an entire chapter arguing. He said he couldn't speak, that he wasn't the right guy. He completely flinched when the breakthrough arrived. The big takeaway here is that feeling terrified of a new opportunity isn't a warning sign to back off. That fear is actually proof that the door is real and you're stepping up to a whole new level. Now, what's really interesting about this next slide is how it transitions into phase 3, the stewardship test, pruning streams and sowing in the storm. This is a pretty uncomfortable phase where heaven effectively audits your resources. A major part of this test is pruning. Pruning is defined here as cutting away a stable but small income stream to force a repositioning for a much larger harvest. Say you lose a longtime client or a trusty side hustle just suddenly dries up. In the natural world, this absolutely screams failure. But the sources describe this as God removing a crutch. If that stable door hadn't closed, you'd stay dependent on a stream that's simply way too small for the harvest that's coming. It's repositioning you guys, not punishment.
Following that pruning comes the spiritual audit, or what the sources call the small things test. Suddenly, you get this urge to confront those messy financial papers you've been ignoring for years. You sit down, you make a strict budget, and you cut out that frivolous $5 coffee. Now your brain might be screaming, why worry about $5 when I need $5,000? But the material points out that this is a faithfulness exam. If you can't be faithful in tracking a simple $5 expense, why would heaven trust you with the weight of millions?
And then, right in the middle of this tight budget and serious lack, you might experience this totally irrational, supernatural urge to sow. Maybe it's an urge to give to a church, a person, or a ministry when your own bank account is struggling to survive. If you do the math, this sounds completely illogical. No way it makes sense, right? But the sources frame this urge to sow during a storm as the ultimate weapon of spiritual warfare. It breaks the spirit of poverty and boldly declares that God, not your banking app, is your actual source.
All right, that brings us to the final phase, phase 4, the quiet seed, divine strategy, and the silence of heaven. The sources actually issue a strong warning here, noting that this is exactly where most believers abandon their breakthrough, right before it arrives.
This is the ultimate test of trust. Here's how it unfolds. First, the entire nature of your prayers changes. You stop praying for a lottery jackpot, and you start praying for divine strategy and practical business ideas. Second, you receive this deep, completely unexplainable peace, even though your bills haven't changed one bit. And third, and wow, this is definitely the hardest one, you endure the total silence of God. You pray, you fast, and heaven just goes completely, entirely still. But let's look at that second step for a second through Philippians 4:7, which talks about a peace that surpasses all understanding. The sources highlight that when peace shows up before the money does, it is the ultimate sign that heaven has moved before earth has caught up. That unexplainable peace is, essentially, a prophetic receipt. It's your confirmation that the transaction has already been approved. And what about that terrifying silence of God? Well, we often view silence as punishment, right? Like God has just walked out of the room. But the sources urge us to view silence as assembly. Look at the specific examples they provide. Joseph endured 13 years of silence, prison, and betrayal before becoming the second most powerful man in Egypt in a single afternoon. Jesus spent 30 years in complete obscurity before 3 years of world-changing ministry. Silence simply means God is busy assembling pieces and arranging things behind the scenes that he just cannot move, while you're still trying to manage the process.
Which brings us to the core takeaway from this entire explainer. When you look at your situation right now, are you seeing a financial collapse, or are you seeing a divine setup? The intense pressure, the chaos, the pruning, and yes, even the silence, none of these are a rejection. They're a training ground. They are systematically expanding your capacity and breaking old chains so that when the massive blessing finally does arrive, it elevates you instead of crushing you.
So, I leave you with this final provocative thought. When the pressure hits its peak, will you hold your ground long enough to receive what is about to be released? Can you trust the unseen timing? Thank you so much for joining me to explore these fascinating insights. And if you found this explainer valuable, like, share this video, and subscribe to our channel.